I'm piston dizzy. Some people say I shouldn't be riding motorcycles, but I give it a damn good go anyway. So in this episode, we're going to be carrying out service on this vehicle. It's Kawasaki ER 6F. So I'm going to talk you through steps in order for you to carry the service out by yourself. So first step that we've got to do, obviously, is try and get the bike onto a stand, whether it be an ABBA stand, paddock stand, whichever one you've got. So if you're using a paddock stand, obviously there is lugs there for you to be able to put bobbins on, so you can lift it up on that paddock stand. But this one hasn't got it, so I'm going to use an ABBA stand. In order for me to be able to use that, I need to remove these side panels, one from this side, one from the other side. So it's just a 5mm Allen bolt. Take that out. Don't just prise it off, because it has got little lugs on the back. So prise it off nice and gentle, like that. So what we're exposing is your swing arm pivot bolt. So we've got adapters on the ABBA stand to go over there and on the other side. So we've got that one off, so we'll go over to the other side and we'll take that one off. So, this one as well. Again, nice and gentle, just prise it out. Same for there, exposing that again. So now we've got that off, then we can now get it up onto our ABBA stand. So now we've got it up onto ABBA stand, then we can now start to carry out the bits that we need to. So first of all, we need to remove both these seats. So take the key, we'll seat off, slide it back, lift it up from the front, and off that one comes. So put them off to the side somewhere safe. So removing your tank, then, a couple of tools you're going to need. Grab yourself a 4mm Allen, obviously for the two bolts up at the top, and you're going to need an 8mm, a 10mm in your ratchet. First bolts we're going to take out is these just up here. So 10mm bolt here. We're going to remove that one. Take that one out. So we're going to remove these two up at the top, so there's one either side. And try not drop them. So just go around to this side, just remove this one. Now they're removed, then we can now proceed to remove this front bit of cowling. Don't force it off. So round about here on both sides there's like little velcro pads, and obviously round about here and up here there's little lugs like there is that's there. So you have to be very careful when removing this front piece. So nice and gentle, just prise it up. So front ones I've gave there, that's popped. So again, nice and steady. So the bits I was on about, so they're your Velcro pads. So that's there. You got one there, and obviously they're your mounting bolts. So with that removed, it then exposes 2 more 10mm bolts just up at the top here. So take them out. That's that one. Come on, you stubborn bugger. Oh, that's that one. So now our tank should be free to be able to move. So make it easy for yourself. Don't bother pulling these all the way up. Pull them off at back at tank. Pull them off and just wedge them out of your way. So lift it up a little bit. So what you're looking for, and obviously just here, there's your fuel line that connects to the tank. So we're going to have to prise that up. So again, don't bully it, because if you break the clip, you're snookered. Now it helps if you've got little hands to do this job. Now, I'm struggling a little bit with my sausage finger, so I'll grab a little persuader. Now, just inside there, prise that up nice and gentle. There. So with that up, we should now be able to wiggle that fuel line off, like so. So now that's off, you've got this other plug here that you've got to disconnect. So again, grab yourself a little persuader. Just here there's that little clip. So pull it off, and exactly the same on this side. Lift that little clip up and it should pull off. Once that's done, after days your tank should just come straight off. With that being off, we can now sit it off to the side. So now the tank's out of the way, then we've got to remove the airbox so we can get down to the spark plugs. In order for us to be able to do that, we need to disconnect the battery, because we've got to disconnect some of the electrical stuff out of the way so we can take the airbox off with ease. So disconnect the negative terminal of your battery. Now that'll be the black wire. Some bikes it'll vary, some might be green, things like that, but on this one, the Kawasaki, it's the black wire. So stick your screw back in. I like to disconnect them both so the entire system is completely isolated. Black terminal is quite enough on its own, but I just like to take extra precaution. So now that's disconnected, then we can go ahead and start removing some of this electrical system from up around here so I can take the airbox off. So lift that up. So again, my fat fingers prevent me from getting into many places. So disconnect that from there. Exactly the same from there. So that's that. Take you off of there. They're now out of my way. So what I'm working my way down to is taking this bracket off here, because just here you've got your relay box. Not just that, on this one, they've got heated grips on it, so all this is fixed in and wrapped around absolutely everything. So they've made a spectacular job of installing this heated grip system, I must say. So they're out of my way. So now two 10mm bolts just there. I'm going to take them out. And there's one more just there. No, 10mm. Yeah, some of you say, well, you don't need to be removing that. Well, I do. Reason being is, I don't like to put unnecessary strain on any of the wiring connectors. So that's there. That's you off up there. Take the screw out of that one. That releases that part. So any screws that you remove at all, always make sure you know where they're going back. So there's the ECU. Again, so that's now giving me access to all the screws around the top of the airbox. So I'll take them off. Come out, you damn swine. Pull that little skirt off. Now they're all removed then, we can now take the lid off the top of the airbox. Again, be gentle because you've got all these wires that you've got to try and get from round it. So. Come on, you stubborn bugger. So that's the lid off. So, remove the air filter. So there's one screw just there, securing it in place. Don't matter how many times I do these, I always forget about that one little screw. So in order for us to get the bottom section of the airbox off, we need to gain access behind this panel on the left hand side. So in a way, we've got some earthing cables. So using 10 mil, you take them off. Once that's done, just move them, just fold them back. It now gives us access to a little Allen bolt down there that connects both the manifolds. So now I've got the different tool on. Now again, it's just trying to jiggery poker it, try and get it to drop on in there. Now, there we are, we sat on. Just undo that. So once we've done that, try and retrieve the tool without dropping it down. Once that's done, our rear box should pop off, just like that. So you've got one more thing that's holding it on down at the back. So you've got your crank breather. So if you've got small hands, you can get in. There's a clip just there, push it in and lift it up, but my hands are too big. So some long reach, squeeze them together, get a wiggle. Once that's up, just gently prise that. So happy days, that side's let go then. We've got one more at the other side, but we'll be able to get to that as it comes up. We'll go around to this side. There. Grab hold of that, pull that pipe off, and that should pop straight off. That now gives us access to the top of the engine to get to our spark plugs. So first of all then, we need to be able to gain access down to the plugs. So we're going to pull the coil sticks. So pull the clip off of the back of it. Remember which one goes to which. Obviously on this one they're numbered 1 and 2. So we can stuff that out of the way. Take that one off, pull that back, and then pull them up and tuck them out of your way. Same as that pipe. So grab hold of the first one. So slight pressure lifting up and rock it from side to side. And it'll pop, come straight out like that. So they're what your coil sticks look like inside them. Again, it's ideal, put the same one back in the same cylinder. So I know which one is which. What I'm going to do, it's generally good practice as well. So number it. So that's cylinder 1. So sit that off to the side. Grab hold of number 2. Exactly the same again when I can get to it properly. Grab hold, little pressure up, rock it from side to side. That one comes off. Exactly the same again. Number 2. Sit that off to the side. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to get me spark plug socket. So stick that down in there. So for this particular one, it is a 10mm spark plug socket. That's not the actual size of it. So it that one refers to the size of the spark plug socket, not normal socket sizes. So I've cracked that. So again, should be able to wind it out via your fingers. Sometimes, depending on how long the plugs have been in there, they can be quite stubborn to remove. If they are stubborn and you're trying to back them out and there's resistance, don't force them. Because what you generally do is you'll snap the top off from somewhere down here. So that'll just keep spinning round. So if it's stubborn and it won't come out, spray a bit of penetrating oil. Work it back in, work it back out. In, out. Keep doing that till you can get the plug all the way out. So we've got the first one out then. So back in, down into the second one. Crack that. A little bit of resistance there, but there's nothing that says the threads are going to snap. So I've got it to that point, undo it via fingers. Same as when installing a spark plug, always put them back in with your fingers first. So if you go straight in with a ratchet, you run the risk of stripping the threads out of the top of the head. So if you do that, it turns into a very big job then. So that would be the head off, and you'd be having it helicoiled. So, new plug, take it out. So they should be set. Obviously, you can check them as well with a feeler gauge. So if you get yourself a set of those. So you've got your adjuster on the top. So if you're adjusting it, you'd stick it in and you'd adjust it like that. But you find the correct one that fits the top of it. The other bits that you generally find on them, they're all different sizes. So each one, you fit them in like that. So find out what that gap is. So there we've got a little bit of resistance. So that plug is about 0.8 of a 0.8 of a mil. So that one won't fit. That one won't fit in. So it's set exactly as it needs to be. Once you're happy that the gap is correct, so stick it in your plug. Obviously the spark plug ones will hold the spark plug inside. Just in the bottom of it, or in the top, there's a little piece of rubber that sits into. Push it in, and that'll hold it. So don't drop it in, because what you'll do there is, if it hits the side before it drops into the hole, it'll alter the gap. So that's one thing we don't want to do. So insert it nice and gentle. Twist it till it's finger tight. And again, job's a lot easier when you've got smaller hands. So that one's finger tight, and I'm going to do the exact same for cylinder 2. Drop it down. Once they're finger tight, then stick your ratchet on. So you don't want to over tighten them either. If you over tighten them, you'll potentially strip the threads. So all I'm doing, I'm pushing it till that's snug. And once it's snug, all I'm going to do is a little bit more just to nip it and seat it. So that's enough. Never over tighten your spark plug. 1, you can strip thread. 2, you make it harder for yourself next time round. So spark plugs are in then. So take your coil sticks. Again, the ones for each cylinder. So number 2 into number 2. So force it down. You get a little shake and you layer it. Great, click down in different intervals, a bit like a grater. So same with that one. So they're sat down nice and snug. So stick everything back to where they should be. Where are you gone? There we are. So pull that back out because that sits in there. So put the correct connector back onto each one. So once that's in, fasten that back down. So that is your spark plugs done. So that being done, we can now put our air box back on, install the new air filter. So putting the air box back on then. So inspect your rubbers, make sure there's no nicks or anything there. Make it easier on yourself when you coming to put it back on. A little bit of rubber grease. You don't need a lot. Just a tiny smear on the inside of each one. So, you don't have to put a lot. Just enables it to slide on better. Exactly the same for that one. A little bit more. A little goes a long way. What you don't want is to put too much on. You then go on to the intake side. You don't want any of that going around in the engine. Now once you've done that, grab it, slide your bits back down where they need to go. So them into there. So just remember, before pushing it all the way back down, connect this pipe that's on this side. So force that pipe up, it will go. There we are, that's that one on. So push that down. So don't force it down if it won't go. Because the last thing you want to do is bend the manifolds. So pull your pipes back out to where they need to go. Just like that one. That belongs there. Stick your fingers in and guide it down into place. So like there, once it's there, just get a little push and push it home. So there we are, that's now back on. So we'll come back round to that side and we'll secure that bolt. Oh, and I'm on. As you're doing it, push down on that, make sure they're on, and tighten it up. Happy days. So now we're on. Try and retrieve it without dropping that down to the engine. Once you've done that, we need to stick the earthing strap back on. So, there we go. So, that sits back there. Without dropping that bolt, of course. Happy days. So, fasten that back in. So, that's nice and secure. Nice and gently put these back to where they should be. There we go. So that one's back in. We can now fit our new air filter and put the lid back on. So the air filter we're going to be putting back in this one then. High flow filters. Decent filters, it's why we maintain keep using them. So the specific one to this bike is HFA 2608. Pull that out, take it out of its wrapper. Remember, take your screw out of the old air filter and push it back down into there. Again, trying to do it with my grit fat sausages. So, sit that in. Make sure it's in all the way round. Screw it back down into place. Snug that home. So that's your air filter installed. So let's put the lid back on it then. So again, being careful because you don't want to snag any of the wires or out. So stick it on. Feed that one over. Work it round, stick that one over. Happy days. So that's on there. That's on. That's on. So we can now secure the lid back into place. So work your way round. So just be careful, especially if you've got big hands. Certain ones around this area, if you drop them, you're taking everything back apart again. Many times I've done that. Airbox back off. You don't have to over tighten them. If you over tighten them, you're just going to make it hard for yourself the next time round. This is the one that I generally drop. So that's your airbox screwed back into place then. So let's put all the electrics back where they live. So, force that in there, stick that back on, Again, make sure it sits nice and snug. So nice and gently bring that back over. So there's that. So one thing I have bloody done. I've gone and trapped the cable underneath the airbox. So let's see if I can get it back out without taking it off. Oh, we're lucky. So we can feed that back up to where we need it then. See, even people that do this kind of job on a daily basis makes mistakes. Any of them that says no, we don't, they're lying. So that's in place. Now let's secure that back to where it needs to go. Just stick them in finger tight for a minute until you can get them all into place. There's always one stubborn bugger. So once they're into place, tighten them up. So make sure there's no wires being trapped. Tighten that one up. That's that one. So we'll connect the heated grips again. Stick them back down to where they originally lived. So down there. Stick that one back in there, slide that back onto its post, exactly the same for that one. Connect that, stick that back on its post. So they are all back where they belong. So bring that back over like that. Bloody thing. Through there like that. Happy days. Stick that one back on there. Now, one last screw that I forgot to put in. So That's your airbox all back on, secure. We can now go ahead and put the tank back on. And once that's done, we'll then connect the battery back up. So, sticking the tank back on then. So, sit it on at the top. Again, if you've got a friend to help you, all the better. But all I'm doing, I'm just hovering it there. Connect your cable back up. Actually, lower it down. Push your cable out of the way for a minute. Push your fuel line back on and push the white cap down. So you can go ahead, sit that down. So, let's bring the battery connector back round to this side. So, make sure all the moles line back up. So happy days. Stick your connector back to where it should be. Once that's done, go ahead and we'll secure the tank back down to the bike. So, 2 bolts at the top. That's them. You bolt down at the bottom as well. Days. So our tank is now secure. So whilst I'm here, I'm going to reconnect the battery back up. That one first. That's in there. That's that one connected back up. Now let's connect the negative side of the battery. Stick your lines back on. Stick them back onto the back of the tank. Happy days. So we'll now go and we'll reinstall the front cowling. So before you stick that on, grab your rubber grease again. Lubricate your rubber grommets. So you can be generous on these if you want. So lubricate them up. It allows your little posts to fit more, sliding better. Exactly the same on there. So now that's done, we can then go ahead and reinstall this. Again, being very gentle as you put it in. line your two back ones up first. Yeah. So I feel them starting to slide in there. Then once you're at that point, get a little snug. That clips there, that clips there. Happy days. That's lined up. Spot on. So we can now reinstall our Allen bolts on that side, on each side there. That's the tank fully installed, cowling back on, all the bolts, lines and everything connected. So we can now put our seats back on and we can move on to doing the oil change. So changing the oil on the bike then. So changing the oil filter. Going to need a couple of tools for this one. So oil filter remover. So you can get the claw ones, you can get the chain version as well. 17mm ring spanner, oil filter installer, and your oil filter. So the oil filter on this one, again we're using high flow filters. So it's an HF 303. That's the oil filter for this model. So first of all, we're going to start by removing the sump plug. So the sump plug in question is this one, just there. So all we're going to do, we're going to take our 10mm ring. So sit it on, get a little snap, and bring your oil pan into place. All we're going to do, we're just going to undo that sump plug. So that's now draining. So take that out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put round to the other side. I'm going to remove the oil filler cap. So the filler cap is located just here. So we're going to undo that. It is rather difficult to get into, so I'm going to grab some pliers. Try and grab hold of it. There we go, just to help it. So, and pull it out. Happy days. So, whilst we're here then, we're waiting for this to dry. We might as well remove the oil filter. So, on this specific bike, the oil filter is located at the front, just behind the header pipes. Accessing the oil filter then. So you can get to it from just underneath, and obviously it's this little guy just there. Getting to it from the bottom, you will have to remove these little clips. So there's two located along the bottom and there's one located at the front here. So it allows you to get a little bit more access to it. So with your clamps, feed them up. And gradually it'll start to turn. So don't do it all the way, because we need to slide that back into place. Then once we have, we can then reach round and undo it. The rest of the way. So pull it out. That's one oil filter. So drain the excess out, or just leave it in there. Okay then, so installing our new oil filter. So open it up, pull it out. Obviously it'll be sealed on the other side with a piece of plastic. So take that off. Yeah, there's a little smear of grease around it. up a little bit of oil. Rub it all the way around the rubber O-ring that's there. And then pull them apart, slide that up, and you're going to sit it back onto where it needs to be. So, screw it on by your hand first. So, untight it. Happy days. So, what we're now going to do, we're not going to tighten it up massively, but we're going to use our installing cup. So, take your ratchet and a couple of lengths of extensions, stick that on, and then what we're going to do, slide that up, stick that onto your oil cup, onto your oil filter. So just like that. So once you've done that, you're going to tighten it up. So just till you feel it starts to get tight, and that's enough. Now, once you've done that, remove the oil cup, and that's quite enough. So don't forget to clean the residue oil off of it. You can use a rag. I like to use a little bit of brake cleaner. So little brake cleaner in a pot and a brush. Again, anywhere where there's oil, don't be shy, just lather it on. Now once you've done that, sit that back off to the side, and a little bit of blue roll. Just wipe and clean them surfaces down. So last thing you want is oil sat on them pans, in belly pan. Obviously it drips onto the road, your wheel runs over it. Especially if there's a lot, back end could slide out on you. It's the last thing that we want. So degrease it and clean it up. Just inspect it, see what it's like. Happy days. We're nice and clean there. Push that up there out of your way. So, grab your mounting hardware. Yeah, sit them together. Like that. Nice and gentle. Just insert them back in. Push them back in. Exactly the same for the ones underneath. You've got I've got to be rather gentle with them because they are absolute buggers for stripping or breaking. Just like this bugger, it don't want to go back in. Pull like that. It will go in. There we are. So that's back in. Stick that back in there. Same for the one at the front. Stick that in. Push it home. Happy days. We'll reinstall our sump plug then. So, anytime you remove that, replace your little alloy washer. So don't keep using the same one. So they're absolutely pennies to buy. So don't be a tight-fisted swine and skimp on 50p. So replace it anytime you do an oil change. So that's that in there. So again, your 17mm spanner. Just nip it up. So we're nice and snug a bit there. And then just get a couple of taps, seat it home. Don't over tighten it. Obviously, it will strip the threads out on it, and you'll end up having to helicoil it. So take your old oil and dispose of it the environmental way. Don't go and dump it in your wheeler bin, because you'll get a fine off at District Council. So, filling the engine up with oil then. So, grab yourself a decent amount of oil. So, you can buy them in 4 litres, or if you take it to, take a carry thing, and they'll fill it up with some premium oil for you. Now, grab yourself some oil. Obviously, read the specs of the bike that tell you roughly how much oil the engine needs. So, grab yourself a funnel as well. Stick it inside the hole. And just keep adding bits in, keeping an eye on the level as it comes up. So, start sticking some in. So that's gone up past it, but that's going to drop back down to that top line. Might even drop a little bit below it again. So don't worry about it being above the line at this point, because we've got to fire the bike up for it to circulate for a couple of seconds, and it'll fill the oil filter. So once it stops moving, we'll seal the oil filler cap up. We'll fire the bike over for a couple of seconds, let it cycle, turn it back off, leave it 5 minutes, let it settle back down, and then we'll do a final adjustment regarding the oil level. So that's not moving now. So whilst we're there, now we're there, take that out, clean everything back up. Clean that, make sure that's nice and clean. And once you're happy, stick that back in. So don't over tighten them. Just snug it up. That's all you need to do. So whilst it's where it's at the moment, I'm going to fire the bike up. Obviously, let it cycle for a couple of seconds, and then we'll turn it back off. So we've now turned it back off. So what we're going to do now is obviously let the engine settle, the oil settle. Any oil that's left up at the top of the engine will seep back down, and we should at some point start to see it rising up a little bit. So just like it's doing now actually. So we'll come back in 5-10 minutes and we'll double check the levels. So now we've left it for a while, obviously we can now double check it. So we're now reading low. Take your filler cap back off, stick your funnel back in, and then top it up to the final level. So we've finished filling it back up. So we've now got a final level. So it's just below the full mark. And that's because when the bike's sat on the ground completely off of the ABBA stand, that level will come up to the full mark. So that's now our service complete. We've reached the final reading on the little spyglass. We've reinstalled our filler cap. Next thing to do is lower the bench back down, drop the bike off the ABBA stand, and refit our side cowlings. Now we've dropped the bike off of the ABBA stand, we can now put our side fairings back on. So, find the side that they go on, so we'll install the other side first. So again, being gentle as you put them back on. Like that. So, snug them up, don't over tighten them though. There's that one. That one. Happy days, that's back on. And insert the hardware. Oh, that's now everything done. Thank you for tuning in to Piston Dizzy. So, from start to finish, you now know how to carry your own service out on this specific bike, which is a 2016 ER6F. So, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell button.